Do you remember the last time a conversation healed you from the inside? Maybe it was that friend who listened when no one else would. Or that friend who made you laugh on a day when the world seemed gray. Today, you'll discover something powerful, something many people overlook their entire lives. True friendships don't just feel good, they save, they heal. They renew the body and soothe the soul. If you feel like something's missing in your routine, if the days seem too long, maybe what's missing isn't medicine. Maybe it's someone, a real connection, a friendship that heals. In this video, you'll learn how friendships can transform your physical and emotional health, and how there's still time to nurture bonds that make your heart beat stronger, with more peace, more joy, and more life. Because growing older doesn't have to mean loneliness. It can be a new beginning, with affection, stories, and companionship that warms you. The science of friendship. The body feels it too. Have you ever noticed how your body seems to relax when you're around someone who makes you feel good? That lightness in your chest, the effortless smile, the slowed heartbeat. That's not just in your mind or heart. Science has shown, with increasing clarity, that friendship is real medicine for the body, and one of the most powerful kinds. When we spend time with people who love and accept us as we are, our brains release chemicals that change how we experience the world. One of them is oxytocin, often called the love hormone. It's released in moments of affection, like a hug, a sincere conversation, or even hearing a familiar laugh. And its impact on the body is real and measurable. Oxytocin reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, and when stress decreases, everything improves. Blood pressure stabilizes, sleep deepens, the immune system becomes more efficient. The body understands, I'm safe, I'm okay. I'm with those who make me feel good. Research from around the world, including studies on the elderly, proves that those who maintain active friendships tend to live longer, and not just longer, but with better quality of life. Some studies compare the impact of loneliness to harmful habits like smoking or an unbalanced diet. Chronic loneliness, especially in later years, is linked to increased risks of cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, and even depression. On the other hand, when we nurture true friendships, our brains stay active, memory lasts longer, and our bodies respond with gratitude. And this isn't about quantity. It's not about having dozens of friends or being the center of attention at parties. It's about quality. Having one or two people with whom you can truly be yourself, people you can talk to without judgment, share laughter, confessions, and silence with. A genuine connection is priceless. And it's fascinating how the body knows this. A real hug from someone who cares can regulate your heartbeat. Patient, unhurried listening can ease physical pain. A moment of camaraderie can turn a whole day of sadness around. Friendship, when genuine, becomes healing presence. Even when we're not physically together, remembering a dear friend activates areas of the brain linked to well-being. Recalling good times with loved ones can trigger positive physical reactions, as if that moment were happening again. That's because, for our brains, emotion and memory are deeply connected. You may not realize it, but many of the physical discomforts we feel, tight shoulders, insomnia, loss of appetite, or unshakable fatigue, can have emotional roots. And friendship works precisely there, at the root of the problem. A friend isn't a replacement for a doctor, but they can be the bridge that pulls you out of apathy, reminds you to take care of yourself, and encourage you to take one more step. They might be the nudge you need to smile again. So now, more than ever, it's time to look at the bonds in your life. Who's around you? Who have you stopped reaching out to because of pride or the rush of daily life? Maybe it's time to restart a conversation, make a call, or write a letter. Reconnecting may not heal everything, but it's a huge step toward true health. The kind that starts in the soul and spreads through the body. In a time when loneliness has become so common, especially in later years, remembering that we can still connect, that we can still make new friends and strengthen old bonds is a relief. And more than that, it's a powerful way to care for our health. Because in the end, the body does feel it. And when it feels love, friendship, and warmth, it responds with life. The antidote to loneliness. Friendships in later life. Loneliness is silent. It doesn't knock, doesn't ask for permission, doesn't make noise when it arrives. It just settles in. Sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly. It appears when children leave home, when friends start passing away, when routines change, when the phone stops ringing. And the most dangerous part? We often grow accustomed to it without realizing it. We accept the emptiness as part of life, as if it were a price to pay for aging. But it shouldn't be that way. Later life doesn't have to mean distance, isolation, or a lack of connection. Quite the opposite. It can and should be a time of reunions, new friendships, and meaningful exchanges. Because behind every wrinkle time has left, there's a rich story full of lessons, experiences, and triumphs. And sharing those stories with someone who understands is balm for the soul. Science has already recognized the negative impact of chronic loneliness. It raises cortisol levels, weakens immunity, affects mental health, and may even accelerate neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. It's as if the body slowly dims, losing its spark bit by bit. But there's an antidote, simple, human, essential: friendship. Having someone to share afternoon coffee with, to walk in the park with, or simply sit beside in comfortable silence changes everything. Life regains purpose when there's someone who listens to both our words and our quiet moments. In later years, it's common to think making new friends is difficult, that opportunities dwindle, that it's not worth it anymore. But that's a misconception that needs to be undone. Because this is precisely the stage of life when friendship takes on new value. It's no longer about status, appearances, or interests. It's about affection, understanding, empathy. It's about finding someone who respects your pace, who gets your struggles, who celebrates your small joys. A mature friendship has a rare beauty. It's calmer, truer, more generous. And these friendships don't have to be old ones. Sometimes life places new people in our path, in a class, at a community center, in a pharmacy line, or even online. It's important to stay open. Make room for the new. Say good morning with intention. Strike up a conversation. Ask a name. Show interest. Small gestures that can blossom into deep bonds. Because yes, it's still possible to make new friends at 60, 70, 80. And often, it's these late connections that restore hope. It also takes courage to rekindle old friendships. Sometimes we leave good friends behind due to misunderstandings, distance, or just life's distractions. But it's never too late to reconnect. A call, a message, a sincere apology, or even a simple "I missed you" can open doors that seemed locked forever. Nurturing friendships in this stage of life is also a way to protect yourself emotionally. Because friends help us process grief, face difficult diagnoses, and get through days when everything feels heavy. They remind us of who we are, who we were, and who we can still be. They give us the strength to keep going. And here's a profound truth. No matter your age, every human being wants to be seen, heard, and valued. Friendship offers that. Without words, it says, you matter. You make a difference. You're not alone. So if you feel loneliness closing in, don't accept it as a life sentence. Fight for connection. Seek people out. Rekindle old ties. Visit places where you can meet new faces. Share your time, your listening, your presence. Because sometimes, it's precisely when we think we have nothing left to give that life surprises us with the most healing friendship of all. And don't forget, when you reach out to someone, you might just be saving your own life. Bonds that extend life, longevity through connection. It's fascinating to think that sometimes what most impacts our health isn't found in medical tests, medications, or even diet, but in the people who walk beside us. Research from around the world points to a simple yet profound truth. Those with strong social ties live longer. And not just longer, they live better, with more joy, vitality, and purpose. Humans weren't made to live alone. Since ancient times, our brains evolved in tribes, groups, villages. Being surrounded by others meant protection, survival. Even now, with all our modernity, that need remains. It shows up in subtle ways: a chat at the gate, a knowing glance, a friend calling just to ask how your day was. It's in these small gestures that an invisible yet powerful support network is built. One famous study followed residents of Roseto, Pennsylvania, for decades. Despite less than ideal diets and lifestyles, they had remarkably low rates of heart disease. The secret? Their tight-knit community. Strong family ties, close friendships, neighbors who looked out for one another. That web of human connection acted as a shield for their health. But as individualism crept in over the years, disease rates rose. In other words, it wasn't just what they ate, but who they lived among. When we talk about longevity, we're talking about more than just years. We're talking about meaning, about knowing someone will notice if you don't show up, about feeling missed, about the certainty that your memories are shared by someone who also remembers, who still smiles at the same story told for the 10th time. Friendship adds color to the years. It gives direction to the days. And yes, it helps the body keep fighting, even when it's tired. That's why, as we age, we must tend to friendships like delicate plants. Water them with attention, time, and listening. Sometimes it's just a text saying, "I thought of you today." Other times, it's finally scheduling that long postponed coffee. Because bonds don't sustain themselves. They need our presence, even if it's simple, sincere, humble. And remember, it's not about quantity. It's not about having hundreds of contacts or photos with strangers. It's about quality. One true friend is worth more than 20 acquaintances who disappear when life gets hard. A real friend listens even when you say nothing, respects your silence, holds your hand when words aren't enough. There's another crucial detail. True friendships challenge us. They point out our blind spots, warn us when we're going too far, pull us back to reality when worries take over. These sincere connections keep us lucid, active, emotionally alive. Too often, we see older adults fading, not from physical illness, but from lack of connection. The body goes on, but the soul withdraws. That's why friendship is invisible. Fuel for longevity. It gives us a reason to get out of bed, leave the house, share memories, make plans. Yes, plans. Because as long as there's someone to dream with, life keeps pulsing. So if you want to live longer and live well, look around. Who makes your eyes light up? Which friendships have stood the test of time? What new bonds are waiting to form? Nurture those connections. Cherish those relationships. And remember, sometimes the secret to longevity is in a shared cup of coffee, a heartfelt hug, or an afternoon of good conversation. Simple moments that are deep down the best medicine for the soul. The healing power of listening and being heard. The remedy of true listening. Some pains don't show up on tests. Pains that don't bleed, that leave no visible scars. These are the silent aches of the soul, the ones we often carry for months, years, even decades. But no matter how heavy they are, they have a natural, simple, and powerful enemy. Someone who knows how to listen. True listening is a rare gift. It's more than staying quiet while the other person speaks. It's being there with an open heart, no rush to respond, no need to fix anything, just holding space. Anyone who has felt the lightness of being heard without judgment knows. It's like taking off a heavy backpack. Your breathing changes, your chest loosens, your soul finds room to breathe. In true friendship, there's this sacred space of listening. A real friend is someone who lends you their silence so you can sort through your chaos, who listens not just with their ears, but with their eyes, their body, their whole soul. They notice when a word carries more weight than it seems, when a pause hides unshed tears, when a forced smile reveals the exhaustion of someone who's been trying to stay strong for too long. And here's the beautiful part: when we listen to someone, we heal too. Because in making space for another, we realize our pains aren't unique, that our struggles live in other hearts too. We see ourselves in another's vulnerability. And this exchange, even when silent, has immense healing power. The human brain physically responds to empathetic listening. Activity in the amygdala, the center of fear and anxiety, decreases. The nervous system relaxes. Heart rate slows. This means that when someone truly listens to us, the body understands it's safe. And only when we feel safe can we begin to heal what's wounded. That's why for many, an honest conversation with a friend is worth more than a therapy session. Because in the warmth of caring listening, we don't have to justify our sadness or disguise our weakness. We can be whole even when broken. We can be real without fear of rejection. And that alone is profound relief. But listening takes practice. It takes presence. In a noisy world where everyone wants to speak, give opinions, or be right, pausing to listen is an act of generosity. It means setting ego aside for a few minutes to step into another's reality. And when this happens between friends, the bond grows stronger. Because we feel seen, validated, understood. Sometimes, all someone needs is to say, "I'm not okay," and hear on the other end a calm voice reply, "I'm here." No rush to solve anything, no attempt to minimize the pain. Just being there, staying. That alone begins mending the soul's invisible cracks. In old age, this power of listening becomes even more precious. Many elders carry incredible stories, but rarely find willing ears to hear them. Many are no longer asked for input or remembered often. Loneliness grows, silence thickens. But it only takes one true listener, a curious grandchild, a patient neighbor, an attentive friend, for that often overlooked soul to shine again. And the most curious thing? When we listen to an elder with care, we're not just giving something, we're receiving. Receiving wisdom, affection, life lessons, quiet advice hidden between the lines. Every shared story is a piece of the world passed along. And this simple act of listening becomes mutual healing. So if you want to be a healing friend, start with listening. Be present. Put the phone down. Make eye contact. Don't interrupt. Don't judge. Just be there. Because sometimes the most healing words aren't the ones we say, but the ones we let others say. Knowing we're there, fully attentive, caring with an open heart. Friendship, when soaked in true listening, transforms. It rebuilds. And deep down, it reminds us of a simple but often forgotten truth. We all, at some point, need to be heard. And we all have the power to heal simply by knowing how to listen. The importance of being remembered, the value of small gestures in friendship. Have you ever noticed how a simple "I thought of you today" can completely change your day? A short message, an unexpected call, a note left on the door, a cake baked with care. Small gestures, simple, almost invisible to those who don't pay attention. But for the one receiving them, these acts have the power to brighten even the grayest days. Being remembered is a silent, powerful form of love. It's as if the other person is saying, without words, "You matter to me, you exist. And even when we're apart, you're part of my world." For many, this sense of belonging, of relevance, is all they need to keep hope alive. Especially in later life, when time seems to slow and bonds begin to loosen. Many believe keeping a friendship alive requires big gatherings, long talks, or elaborate plans. But the truth is, what sustains friendship day to day are these small reminders: a good morning text, a voice note asking how their night was, remembering their birthday even without a party. The simple act of showing someone they've been on your mind creates stronger ties than any expensive gift or grand event, and the health impact is real. Being remembered reduces isolation, activates brain circuits linked to pleasure and emotional safety, and even lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. It's as if the body understands, I'm not alone. Someone out there cares. And this awareness strengthens not just the mind, but the body too. In today's busy world, we often underestimate simple gestures. We think we don't have time, that the person already knows we care. But the truth is, no one can guess what goes unspoken. No one feels what isn't shown. That's why small acts matter so much. They're the practical translation of feeling, the physical form of affection. And when these gestures are consistent, they weave a sturdy emotional net. Because friendship, at its core, is built on constancy. Not being together all the time, but being present, even from afar. Remembering without reason. Showing up without being asked. Some elders count the days waiting for a child's call, a grandchild's visit, a neighbor stopping by for coffee. And when these moments happen, even for just minutes, life renews, energy shifts, the heart beats differently. Because feeling remembered is feeling loved. And love is the best medicine there is. So if you have a dear friend, don't wait for their birthday to show up. Don't wait for a crisis to offer help. Send that message now. Share that happy memory. Bring over warm bread in the afternoon. Write a letter by hand. Call just to say, "Hi, I thought of you." Because in today's fast, disposable world, being remembered is a luxury, and offering it is an act of deep humanity. Here's something curious about those who cultivate these small gestures. They start being remembered too. Because the care we give comes back to us in unexpected ways. The seeds we plant in others' hearts one day bloom in our own paths. This is what makes friendship one of life's most rewarding bonds. It's no coincidence that among the world's longest living people, like those in Okinawa, Japan, or Nicoya, Costa Rica, constant social connection and affection are cited as pillars of well-being and longevity. They don't live longer because they have more resources. They live longer because they have more bonds, more human warmth, more presence, more memories, and more reminders. So if you want to be that kind of friend, start today. Don't wait for special dates or occasions. Every day is a chance to show someone they matter. And in the end, when we look back, it won't be the big events that marked our lives, but the small gestures. The ones that seemed simple but touched us deeply. The ones that said, without words, "You matter, you are loved, you were remembered." In the end, what we seek most aren't things, but people, bonds, warm presences, comforting voices, welcoming gazes. Because when life gets hard, it's not success, money, or possessions that hold our hand, it's friends. The ones who stayed, who listened, who were there without asking for anything in return, who often healed us with nothing but silence and an open heart. Science has proven it. Life has taught it. Our souls have felt it. True friends heal. And sometimes that healing doesn't come with pretty words, but with shared coffee, unexpected laughter, or a simple "I'm here" at just the right moment. This is the kind of friendship we must nurture, because it doesn't just improve our health. It gives meaning to our existence. Now tell me, who's the first person who came to mind while watching this? Send them a message right now. Don't wait. Tell them you remembered them, that you miss them, that you care. And if this video touched your heart in any way, share it with someone who needs to hear this. It might be the sign they've been waiting for to keep going. And if you believe, like I do, that true friendship is one of life's greatest treasures, leave a comment below saying, "I choose to nurture healing bonds." Let's grow this chain of kindness together, touching more lives, healing more wounds. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and leave a like. Every week, you'll find comforting words, inspiring stories, and reflections that strengthen the soul here. Because as long as we stay connected, no one is ever truly alone.